Am I audible properly?
Yes, yes, you are. Hello, good evening.
A very warm welcome to you on this particular platform where you're gonna share us your insights about doing great in field of designing, and we're gonna be like we extremely are privileged to have you here today. So
Thank you.
you're most welcome, ma'am. With that, I welcome everybody. So, you're gonna love this masterclass today because I'm sure that Reshma ma'am is gonna tell us everything about her success today. So, I would request everybody to be very attentive with the same. Okay, without further ado, let's start with this magical session by none other than founder of Bharat Reshma, Miss Reshma ma'am. Ma'am, everybody knows you and your brand, but still we would want to listen up from you that how exactly this brand works and what exactly are the things about this brand.
It's been many years since the day we started, about 15 years. So the how it started was actually, if you know, we're into menswear. So when we first started out with casuals. My husband was very passionate about his casual looks, even denims and t-shirts and jackets, and he was very stylish. And both of us were very passionate about clothes. But when we went to weddings, it was somehow very noticeable that the bride was always, adorned in all her beautiful lehenga, jewelry. She was taking all the limelight, whereas the groom was extremely subtle, he would hardly be visible. So that got us into bringing out something new, something that would inspire somebody. When you look at the groom, he's looking as good as the bride. And I think we were pioneers at that time because nobody did that. The grooms all were in the same dull colored sherwani and were as dull as ever compared to the bride. So we started this revolution where we brought about grooms wear, A to Z of grooms wear, complete with accessories, juttis, handwork, karigari, everything. So as you see these days, the grooms are as glamorous as the brides.
Absolutely, absolutely. Credit goes to you and your brand, I would say. Then definitely, you are
Thank
contributing a lot to the team. Heading on to the fashion, what is fashion as for you? I know, like, fashion ka definition could be very different for everybody, but what is fashion exactly for you?
So fashion, I would say, is one of the things uh, where the sky is the limit. You could play around with it. There is no limit to it. There is no limit to how you can express fashion. The sky is the limit. You can do anything. You can play around as much as you can. But at the same time, I think fashion is very personal also. Everybody has to be an individual as well. So to express your individuality, you should know what sense of style you have, what vibes well with you, what sparks you have. So you can experiment as much as you want, but your personality should be there, a spark of your personality. So when there's a mix of both these things, a good vibe of your personality and of the limitless creations that you could take, so that is what fashion is all about.
So basically, the designs you guys create, that is amazing. I mean, I've gone through all of it, but I really want to know, and everybody wants to know, that nation wants to know, because this is gonna be a part of social media today, tomorrow, maybe. So we would want to know that from where you guys are taking this inspiration from. Who is your inspiration from the industry, basically, to do
Uh,
great
from,
in terms?
from the fashion industry.
Yes, who is your inspiration?
So if you talk about international designers, I very much like Zuhair Murad. I think his fashion is so opulent, so glamorous. I mean, there's a lot to learn from him, and a lot of hard work in each and every garment of his. So I love Zuhair Murad's designs. He's been an inspiration all along. And closer home in India, I think who better than Sabyasachi? I mean, his clothes are so classical, ethereal, beautiful. They look so royal, magical. So closer home, Sabyasachi, definitely.
Right. So, ma'am, you are already doing great in terms of, designer wear and all of that. But, what keeps you going in terms of designing where the competition is like getting day by day more and more and more? Because every day, other day, we have designers coming up in limelight. So, what keeps you going from, and what makes you different from them? So, how exactly is the process?
So I think as far as competition is concerned, there is competition in every field these days. whatever you choose to be, wherever you choose to go, I think there's competition. There always will be. But you have to set a mark for yourself. You want to be a cut above the rest. So there is, I mean, no replacement for hard work or consistency. You know, you have to be consistent, you have to be very hardworking, you have to know what you want. It has to be your passion, and you have to relate to your passion. Only then will you survive the competition. You can't do something for the sake of doing it, or for the sake of, like, you know, parents have told you to do it, or just, you know, for the heck of it. It has to be your passion, and then you have to put in hard work and consistency into it, and that's how you develop whatever you're in. That's how you beat the competition. That's
Very
the thing.
true. Absolutely. So, ma'am, how great do you feel as a owner of this particular brand, Bharat Reshma? Like, as a owner, how do you feel? How is this feeling?
I feel actually very great. I'm extremely satisfied. I feel very great. And I thank God every day, because it has come with a lot of hard work. You know, it hasn't been like, you know, we've got up someday and this brand has been there. We've put in a lot of hard work towards it. So it makes me happy every single day and very satisfied that we've done so much work. And I also gain a lot of satisfaction from the facts that the customers can really relate to us. They are happy when they're dealing with us. They're
Yes, ma'am. So sorry.
settled.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it's settled.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's it. It brings me a lot of satisfaction, and I'm really, really happy about it.
That's great, ma'am. So, ma'am, like when you came into this industry, you came up with this particular niche, and you know, your husband and you were like very much keen to make groom look better, and that's why you created. But we as designers, we as budding designers, how we are supposed to select our niche? Like anything on that, if you can just guide us.
So, like I said, fashion is very vast. The sky is the limit. It's limitless, right? So, when once you've decided this is your field, this is what you want to do. So you have to see where your sparks fly at, where you vibe at, what brings that vibe in you. You know, some people like something which is very opulent, which is very glamorous. You know, when you see that, you have this spark in you. You want to do something like that. You relate to it. And whereas some people will derive inspiration from different cultural factors of our country, or the tribes of our country, or of the world, of anywhere. So you have to see what you can relate to. Your inner being has to relate with something. Like I said, when we started out, we could relate to the groom. We didn't like how we looked, and we wanted to change that. So you see what brings a spark in you, what you think you can vibe well with, what you think you can bring about a change in. So when you do that, when it comes from within, apart from obviously you'll make good creations if you're a fashion designer, it'll also garner a lot of self-satisfaction. You'll also be satisfied. So you have to listen to the voice from within, I think, and find your niche. This is what I want. This is what I would love to do.
Exactly. So it can be anything, whatever we are actually connecting with, that should be our
Yes.
niche, because it's gonna keep us in long term. We'll be, you know, keeping that particular thing with us, and we'll be doing great and great and great. And then we can be even more innovative at the same time. So
Right. So when you start out with something and you're connected to it, and that feels like a connection, and you have this spark within you that I want to do something like this or to better it, obviously then it'll be a good thing. It'll give you satisfaction as well as success.
exactly. Ma'am, I am sure you must be having a lot many struggles, and you must be having the success story of your own, like how you have reached here on the top. So, ma'am, anything about that? We really want to know how you guys started to eventually how things have turned up into, and now exactly how things are going. So, anything in regards with that?
So yes, we've had a fair bit of struggles, I must say. I don't think I think most people do have their fair bit of struggles. That's how they become successful. So when we started out, so like I told you, when we started doing the grooms business, we had opened a very small designer studio with our label of clothing in it, and it did reasonably well. We were passionate about it. Like I said, we wanted to transform the groom, whatever he wore in all the functions, engagement, sagan, roka. So that our small studio was all about that, and it did reasonably well. So after that, when it was doing well for a season or two, we wanted to branch out and open a huge studio. So in fact, we put all our savings into this huge two-floor studio at that time, and everybody was very skeptical about it. Close ones, friends, family, they didn't understand why we were doing this. Just whatever you've saved up, you're spending on such a big studio. So people were like, it won't work out, you won't be successful, you might regret it. Why do you need to do this? People didn't believe in us, but we believed in ourselves. We had put everything that we've had into this store, this two-floor store, the good interiors, designings, everything. We put everything in there. We had belief in ourselves that this will do well. It's our passion. And we thought we will garner good response. So with everybody saying negative things, telling us not to do it, we still decided to go ahead with it. And look, now I said it was a two-floor one. Now we have a four-floor studio with another fifth-floor terrace. So that's how success goes. So it was a struggle in the beginning. And people have negative things to say, that you put all your apples in a basket and what if it doesn't work out. But we thought, no, we will do this, we want to do this. So after all the struggles, this is where we are.
That's commendable. I'm real inspired by the same. So basically, having faith on your own self is real important, and I feel that is how it is going. When still we say that we want to pursue fashion designing, our parents say ki nahi, go for some other field because that has more potential maybe in their eyes. So definitely, this is one thing which we all need to understand, that whatever is like wherever we have to go, it should be our. Um, Guys, please put on. Okay, it's on mute. Perfect. Okay, ma'am. So,
Also,
ma'am, a very question
since you
now.
asked, since you asked about struggle, there's another thing I would like to tell you. Like, we as designers, especially my husband, when we make a studio, though we hire interior decorators, we are very particular about the designing of the interiors as well. Extremely particular. So every process we are there, through the dust, through the paint, through the rubble, all of it. So when our studio was being made, my husband would be all dusty and dirty with the workers there, with all the rubble, the bricks, the paint, the dirt, and weeks after week, every day he would have his meals in the car. He would come out of the rubble filled with dust, and he would have his meals in the car, without complaint, cold, hot, whatever, because we very much wanted to be part of the decoration of the interior design as well, because that was also part of our creativity, that would showcase our creativity. So, we didn't take it easy that we've hired some interior decorator, he could go ahead and make it and it'll be good. No, we were part of the whole process, and we would be in the dirt, in the rubble, and we would be eating our meals in the car just to make sure everything went smoothly and everything went well.
A perfect example of how you raise your babies. You have raised your brand, and you're still the same. You are still dedicated the way we nurture babies. You have been nurturing your brand. So that's a whole thing, I believe. All right,
Right.
ma'am. Now, this is like my favorite question for you, that how do you manage to juggle with work, home, children, commitments, all of it? And also, I would really want you to tell everybody that you have two kids,
Yeah, of
because
course.
I.
Yes. I have two children, and they are 21 and 15 now. So they're big enough now. They're not small babies. And I think balancing, I get this question a lot usually, everywhere, even on my Instagram DMs. But I think life is all about balance, basically. You have to balance out everything. If I have had two children, I have made this whole work successful. In fact, I've been behind the PR also of this whole work. But I have never ignored home. I've never ignored my children. I've always been there. There's always been balance. So if you take out time for work, I think you definitely have to take out time for family, for the kids, for even social events that your friends invite you to. So even throughout their growing up years, when my kids were growing up, now they're big, they don't need me that much. I would make sure I would be there for them in the morning. I would get them ready myself, send them to school myself, even with maids around. I would do all that myself, have at least one meal in a day with them, then take out time for work separately, when they're busy with their thing. So balance is the key. If you try and balance, I think everything can be done. So you'll see me on people see me on my Instagram page and ask that you're socializing and you have handle children and work. How do you do it? I think it's all an art of balancing. You take out the time for the kids, for the socializing, and for work, and you're able to do it. Just set a
Right.
timetable for everything.
Exactly. And ma'am, how do you manage to keep up to date? Like, your workout routine must be amazing. Your diet must be amazing. How do you do all of that? I mean, definitely, there is a thing that people are in stress, they tend to overeat. I mean, this is a fun question to my end, that how do you manage this then?
So I love eating. I'm a food lover. If you come to my home, you see me. I love food, especially desserts. I eat a lot. But then again, it's about balancing. I don't miss my workout usually. Whether past few years I've been into yoga a lot into yoga. So either yoga or a walk, or just if I'm not able to, the weather doesn't permit, go to the gym and do some cardio. Some form of workout is necessary for me at least 5 days a week. So because yoga tones you, workout is good. So that's how you burn whatever you eat. But at the same time, I balance since I love eating. If I've had a day of junk and anything, the next few days I'll eat very healthy. So that, so I have to balance that. But yes, workout or yoga or whatever, some form of exercise is a must. And I do it 5 days a week without fail.
That's commendable. That's commendable. I mean, usually with work pressure, people tend to, keep their workout routine aside, but that's amazing. So basically, you're balancing everything so well that, this is one thing which we need to learn from you majorly, that how you're balancing everything so flawlessly. So that's
But I,
there. Uh,
but I think people need to learn this, or they should know about it, that no matter how much stress you have in your life, if you take out time for exercise is actually relieves the stress. You feel less burdened when you exercise. It releases hormones in you, certain hormones, which will make you feel less stressed. So in fact, exercise is extremely necessary.
Very true. Very true. All right, ma'am. Ma'am, any tips and tricks you want to share with the budding designers on how they can excellence in field of designing? Anything to them?
Um, so lots of things, but I think first of all, like I said, you have to be passionate about what you're doing, extremely passionate. Secondly, there is no replacement to hard work and consistency. There's no shortcut. There's no shortcut to success. You found your passion. Now you have to work towards it. You have to be hardworking. You have to be consistent. You have to be patient for the time till you reach your goal. You have to be patient, and one day you will be there. And I guess we see a lot of interns actually who are very creative, who are so good at their field. And of course, someday or the other, they do very well. They branch out, they make their own brands, they end up doing very well. So I think passionate about your work and hard work and consistency is a must. And then lots of students also, I see, like, they have this creative side of them, but I see them usually confused that these designs wouldn't be commercially viable. What should we do? We want to do a good creation, but it's not. So I think you strike a balance between the two. Showcase your form. If you've learned so much, you're passionate about it, showcase your creativity as well as give it a twist so that it's commercially viable as well. So if you're able to do both in your form of work, it'll go a long way.
Right. And ma'am, how internships can play a very important role in terms of designing. Like, people are skeptical. Students at times go skeptical, and they launch their own brands without doing internship under anybody. Like, how internships can play important role. Anything on
So
that?
internship is extremely important. I wouldn't just say important, it's necessary, in fact. Because when you work with a brand, with a renowned brand or an established brand, so to say, so when you go to the units, you see the whole process. When you open something on your own, you wouldn't be able to do that at first. You wouldn't have the capital, most of you. So when you see the whole process of how a garment of fabric is selected, it is dyed, the embroidery that is done, how it is sewn together, each button, the whole process, how it then turns into this beautiful creation that you then put out in the studio. When you see all this, how it is done from A to Z, it is a huge learning process. So when you as an intern see all of this, it'll go a long way with you when you open your own brand or your studio. It'll remain with you. It'll be an experience that you won't forget. So I think it is extremely important for them to get some kind of experience and exposure by getting an internship at some established brand.
Ma'am, do you guys offer internships?
Yes, we do short-term internships because usually our factories extremely, our units are like working day and night. So short-term internships we do offer.
All right. So, what is the procedure for the same? If you can just say or tell all of us that how can we get into Bharat Reshma brand for
So,
internships?
you'll have to mail us, and there is this a person, one of my staff, who's assigned to it. So he'll see to all the mails and all, and then he'll fix an appointment, and that's how we go about it.
All right, perfect. So, anybody, students, anybody who wishes to be a part of internships can apply. I mean, you guys, if you guys qualify and you guys are lucky enough, definitely you'll be working along with them, and you're gonna see that how Bharat Reshma is doing as a brand. So that's there.
Right.
Ma'am,
Right.
in general, students be very much skeptical about taking admission, or after they have taken admission, still they are like dicey about their success, that what exactly they'll be doing in couple of years. What do you have to tell to them? Like, because for example, somebody who is into fashion designing still is very much dicey about their success. So how should we put them up that no, they'll have something in near future? So like, what is the source of motivation for them?
So first of all, don't start out being skeptical. It's you're not on the right track. Don't start out being skeptical. You have to be positive about everything in life, and about what you're going to work at definitely needs a lot of positivity. So don't start out thinking negative in the first place itself. So after you just go on with positivity, and you believe in yourself, in the work that you've done, and someday you'll reach somewhere. There is no shortcut. You'll have to be very patient, but you will reach someday if you actually put in good hard work and consistency. If you talk about myself, like since my husband was so passionate about it, and then we went into grooms, my husband did have good studies in designing. So after my marriage, and even with one small child, I did not have a designing degree or a course. So after getting married and with a small child, I joined a design institute close to my home for about a year, just to learn the technicalities as well, so that I could be full fledged, both of us could be working together. So after my wedding and after a kid, if I could do a course in designing and get this far, become this successful, I mean, you guys, all the students at this young age are learning all this, studying fashion designing, of course the avenues are open, the sky is the limit, you could be very successful.
Exactly, ma'am. Ma'am, so basically, Bharat Reshma is dealing with men's clothing for now. Any future plans of launching women clothing or anything, any expansion is there in process for the same, or you guys are gonna stick to the men's clothing only?
So at the moment, we don't have any plans. The reason being, our hands are tied. We are extremely busy. Like when it's season time, like I told you, our units are working almost 24/7. Except like the workers change and the shifts change, but we're on 24/7. So we actually don't have time on our hands to branch out into anything else. So we have our hands all full. So for the moment, just menswear. Maybe once my children join in, which my son is planning to, then maybe then.
All right. So your son is also pursuing fashion designing.
No, my son has completed his BBA, Bachelor's in Business Administration. He's just completed. Now he'll be going abroad for a course in fashion designing, a proper fashion designing course, and then he'll come back and he'll launch his label.
Ah, perfect. So he's gonna like altogether work on different label, or he's gonna be part of Bharat Reshma only.
Initially,
Or
he'll be part of our label initially, and then later he'll branch out and start his own label.
okay, so this is something unique. I mean, your brand being on top. So generally, it happens now that parents ke brand में kids go involved, but launching altogether a different brand
Yeah.
would be a tough competition to you guys also, because I'm sure then it's gonna be like कि यार घर वाले ही आपस में compete कर रहे हैं. So
So that's a good thing. Healthy competition is always good.
healthy
Healthy
competition.
competition is good and always makes everyone around work better. So it's a good
Exactly.
thing.
I'm sure everybody, this was one knowledgeable session by Reshma ma'am. Now, ma'am, we're gonna head towards a very fun part of this interview, or maybe an inspirational session where you need to be very candid about your answers. Anything, whatever hits your mind first, you just need to answer that randomly. All right, ma'am. So,
Okay.
brand has worked with a lot many big names from Bollywood. Your favorite artist, who has never showed you any tantrums? You have to name one artist.
Sonu Sood, I would say. We work a
Ah,
lot very closely with Sonu Sood, and he absolutely has no tantrums, and he's very subtle. He's a gentleman, and he loves what we give him to wear. He loves our fittings, and he has absolutely no tantrums. So we love designing for him. It's a pleasure designing for Sonu Sood. Also, I guess because
oh,
he does such good work for the country as well. You know, he makes us proud. So that also is an add-on. So we love it when he wears our clothes.
so whatever we see on social media about Sunu Sood is like actually very much true, because then that's how it is. Like you are confirming that detail, because
Yeah.
in general we heard a lot about Sonu Sood doing good deeds in terms of humanity for the country. So that's amazing. All
It
right,
is
heading on.
all true. It is all true. He works very hard. Since we work with him, we know him personally. He works very hard for the Sonu Sood Foundation, and he helps. I mean, crores and millions of people. Whoever he's able to help, he does help. So he's actually very good at it.
That's great. Good to know about this, ma'am. Ma'am, your favorite fashion icon?
It's hard to pinpoint one. I would say Marilyn Monroe. I loved her sense of style. I mean, in those times, if you look at her even now, those pics, the things she wears, so glamorous, so beautiful, Marilyn Monroe. Sean Connery, the first James Bond, iconic.
Right.
The suits he wore, his presence, totally iconic. Even, I mean, these people are like those icons that right now also, if you watch, they'll send goose bumps down your spine, because they look so fashionable and elegant. So Marilyn Monroe, Sean Connery, closer home, Madhubala.
Yes, definitely. Ma'am, heading on to next question. Your favorite clothing brand in terms of women clothing? For men, I'm sure you must be into your own brand. So for women clothing, any specific brand you love?
Zuhair Murad, a Lebanese designer. Zuhair Murad is my favorite women's wear brand.
Ah, perfect. That, ma'am, one thing you love about yourself. There must be a lot many things, but one thing, if you have to say one thing you love about yourself, what it would be?
So I think through the ups and downs of life, we've seen our fair share of struggles and everything. I think I always remain positive no matter what. I'm not the kind to be whining, complaining, no matter the stressful situation, no matter a good situation. So I've always remained positive. That's what I teach my children also. You will never see me whining and complaining about things in life, whether we were just a small studio, we started out, now we have several studios, whatever. I think whining and complaining unnecessary are things that the ungrateful people do. So it's better you be thankful every day for what you have, say thank you every day and move on, and stay positive about each and everything. There's a positive side to everything. So I think that has been one of the things that has gotten me so far, Stay positive, no whining, no complaining.
That's commendable. I can actually relate to you, whatever you are saying, because I can feel that in you. So, that's something which I have observed so far, that you are somebody who is grateful to universe for every tiny thing you have with you, no matter
Yes.
how small or big.
Yes.
Gratitude is something which is real important. Since you are on the top still, you're very grounded as a person. One thing which I'm getting the vibe out of you. That's great.
Right.
All right. One thing you hate about yourself?
One thing I hate about myself. Well, if you ask my children, a lot of times they complain that I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, because I like everything very neat and tidy, extremely neat and tidy. So I have to stop myself not to stress things out, because everything has to be neat. The clothes have to be stacked a certain way. The dishes have to be kept. The decoratives have to be kept at a certain angle. I'm very, very particular about the cleanliness and neatness around my house, around my office. So that sometimes is a bit stressful, so I try to cut it off, because there are so many things. Sometimes you have too many things to do, and you can't go about saying no, this has to be kept in this order. So I have to try and ignore it at times, so that let it be, don't take so much stress on yourself. So otherwise that I get obsessive about cleanliness and neatness.
Ma'am, just one advice for you, because OCD treatment is very simple. It's just that if you are really into it, just make sure that you're putting yourself once in a month in a room which is all messy. Just try to put all the clothes randomly and just stay for like good 2, 3, 4 hours, and then slowly you'll be like, okay, life is
Maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try that.
yeah, yeah,
Though
you
being around my kids' messy rooms have made me better. Have made me better because otherwise I used to go into rooms and I could have a panic attack. You know, how can it be so messy? But then I've learned to ignore it. I've learned to say no. If this is how they like their space, let it be. You know.
Ma'am, I will tell you, this is one funny thing about me. So basically, I was there in one of the finishing schools like 2, 3 years back. So there, we had this thing that we have to keep our rooms real neat and clean. So morning 5 when we used to leave, it should be in a proper position. And the moment we used to come back, night 10, it should be in a proper assemble thing. So night when there used to be no checking. So what I used to do just to make myself own, like, I should be comfortable and I should get that homely vibe. I used to put my clothes all over the floor and I used to be like, now this is my thing. Now
Oh,
I am comfortable. So, whenever anybody used to come and check, they used to say 5 minutes पहले तक तो रूम पूरा प्रॉपर था, ये इतना गंदा कैसे हो गया, और सुबह वापस से सब कुछ प्रॉपर हो जाता है.
right.
So
That was your way of dealing.
exactly. I mean, because this can be a very big barrier in accomplishing things. Because if we are being very much in that zone that we want everything very much proper, so at times even closely working with the clients, or for that matter with your colleagues, gets difficult, because nobody is proper. Nobody is that particular
Yes.
about everything.
You just putting stress on yourself. I've realized that. Yes.
That can make you get into that anxious zone, which further can stop you from doing great, and then you get irritated. For
Right.
example, I have seen people who are from like who suffer from OCD so badly that even if the hair of the other person, if that's not fixed, they'll be like, इस इंसान से बात नहीं कर सकते, उसके बाल यहाँ पे हैं. So it's
Right.
like that.
Yes.
So
That's
that